your week rolling just right with the right mix of news and conversations. Now, whether you're catching us online, on TV, or on the radio, hop on, join the chat. I'm Paolo Rosario.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Asis-Carilo. We are simulcast on Mellow 94.7 BFM. Here's your daily dose of deep dives and good vibes. Welcome to
Beautiful Day! Well, what a weekend.
What a weekend. It was so eventful.
That's putting it lightly.
Eventful. I know. We'd like to thank everyone who kept us in the background. Nagsubaybay yesterday, watched us the whole day as we gave them the coverage of the on the mass protest rallies that happened not just in Metro Manila but all across the country. We had hashtag Cancel Corruption Now. That was our BNC special coverage yesterday. And our reporters, of course, were out there giving us real-time updates. Corina Sanchez Rojas was also there reporting live at the People Power Monument. And nakita natin through photos, through videos, kung gaano karami yung nag-participate sa rallies yesterday.
Yes, obviously tens of thousands of people went out to protest, not just in Metro Manila. There were also thousands, especially in the different provinces, making their voices be heard. And again, ako personally, I was not able to cover this over the weekend, but I just want to give credit to all of our media colleagues, especially here sa Bilyonaryo, but also for the other networks for bringing this all to light, and of course sharing more and more stories about what was happening, whether it be the peaceful protests or even some of the more violent ones that we need to know about. It has been one of the more momentous occasions in terms of mass protests here. And syempre, you put that in the fact, or rather you put that in the context na, especially in our region, we've seen it in Nepal, we've seen it in Indonesia, where in their protests have resulted in a bit of change. And syempre, there is a bit of you could say that some of them are a bit more violent than the others. Yung sa atin, the process is still ongoing. And a lot of people have been saying that it's one thing to protest, pero ano naman yung follow-up nito?
Yes.
Like what can happen and what will happen after this. And we're gonna see that all throughout the day, especially today with the Blue Ribbon Committee going to potentially unseal a few documents as well in terms of evidence that could implicate certain politicians.
They will be unboxing evidence, documents, and computer files from Bulacan engineer Bryce Hernandez kasi pinayagan siya ni Senator Panfilo Lacson na makalabas from yung Senate grounds to go home and get evidence that can prove yung mga statements niya, yung mga allegations niya. So that is going to be happening today. We are going to watch that, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like it has been must-watch TV already.
Yes,
anything coming out of the Senate, Congress even. But of course, we're going to see all the developments later on. But remember, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. And actually, and if I'm not mistaken, they can make their voices heard there too.
That's right. We have a comment section there, guys. So if you want to chime in on our conversation, maybe give us some stories about your experience during the protest rallies yesterday. Kung nag-attend kayo ng rally, share your stories with us. Let us know kung anong nangyari sa inyo, kung anong laman ng placard ninyo. We want to know, okay? So type away on the comment section on Facebook and on YouTube. We are simulcast on Mellow 94.7 BFM, and also we are on the Facebook page of Mellow 94.7 BFM. So there are a lot of ways to get in touch with us. Today, we are going to be having two guests for one for the Hangout, and one for Day Mix.
Yes.
So for Day Mix, we got a Filipino-Norwegian singer-songwriter joining us. Her name is HILLARI. So we'll find out more about her and her music later on during the show. And for the Hangout, ito meron tayong first Filipino analog astronaut. I want to know what that is all about.
Yeah.
What is an analog astronaut? not.
So, of course, a lot to talk about there, but also we have a guest for Weather HQ. So, Weather HQ, we're going to be hearing from the Office of Civil Defense because there is a typhoon coming, Typhoon Anardo. So, we are going to go and find out more about yung mga preparations natin, what areas might be more affected. Of course, we're going to have our forecast later, but of course, we are also going to be scrutinizing yung mga disaster relief efforts that will be made or will be done throughout the next few days because it is a sizable typhoon and there will be many areas affected, especially in the northern part of Luzon. Kaya tignan po natin kung anong mangyayari doon. And how timely is it that we have this storm coming in after rallies about flood control and more?
Diba? Just to prove a point, I guess. Mother Nature trying to prove a point.
Oh, nakikirally din si Mother Nature.
Ang daming substandard projects, ang daming ghost flood control projects. But all joking aside, of course, we are hoping for the safety of our fellow men out there, lalo na in places that are flood prone.
Yes. So yesterday actually, especially if you were around the EDSA area, grabe yung traffic doon, obviously because of the protests. But let's see how it is today.
Today, yes. Let's check the situation in major roads at this hour, guys. First up, here's a look at EDSA Orense in Makati. On the left side of your screens, you're seeing vehicles heading to Pasay City. We got light traffic on that area. Opposite lane, the right side of your screens are vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. We're seeing light traffic there as well. Now this time, let us take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side, those are the vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. We're seeing moderate to heavy traffic already building up on that stretch. Opposite lane on the right side of your screens, those are the vehicles heading to Cubao. Light traffic on that area. Now heads up to motorists. The expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Monday, guys. So vehicles with license plates ending in 1 and 2 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And motorists can expect a significant increase in gas prices this week. The Department of Energy says the price of gasoline and diesel could both increase by up to 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter, while kerosene could increase by up to 1 peso and 20 centavos per liter. The DOE based this forecast on 4 days trading in the global oil market and says it was also influenced by renewed optimism on a potential trade deal between China and the U.S. And it's time to check out today's weather forecast with Paolo on Weather HQ. Take it away, Paolo.
Thank you so much, Anne. Now, there's a lot to focus on, but we're going to focus on the latest on Super Typhoon in Nando. So, Super Typhoon Nando, as of 5 a.m. today, at the center of the eye of Super Typhoon Nando was last located about 245 kilometers east of Calayan in Cagayan. Now, this packs maximum wind speeds of 205 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 250 kilometers per hour. Now, Super Typhoon Nando is currently moving west-northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. Now, in terms of the tropical cyclone warning signals raised by Pag-asa, as Super Typhoon Nando continues to move closer to northern Luzon, this is what we have. Under signal number 5 is the northern portion, the Babuyan Islands, where typhoon force winds of up to 185 kilometers per hour are expected within the next 12 hours. Areas placed under signal number 4 include the southeastern portion of Batanes, the rest of the Babuyan Islands, and the northeastern part of mainland Cagayan. Here, winds may reach between 118 to 184 kilometers per hour in the next 12 hours. Meanwhile, signal number 3 is now hoisted over the rest of Batanes, the northern and central portions of mainland Cagayan, the northern and central portions of Apayao, and the northern and central portions of Ilocos Norte. These areas should brace for storm force winds ranging from 89 to 117 kilometers per hour within the next 18 hours. Placed under signal number 2 are the rest of Cagayan, Isabela, the rest of Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, the northern portion of Benguet, the northeastern portion of Nueva Vizcaya, the rest of Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and the northern portion of La Union. Winds of up to 62 to 88 kilometers per hour may be experienced in these locations within the next 24 hours. Now, under signal number 1 are Quirino, the rest of Nueva Vizcaya, the rest of Benguet, the rest of La Union, Pangasinan, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Bulacan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Zambales, the northern portion of Quezon, including the Polillo Islands. Now, these areas may experience strong winds between 39 to 61 kilometers per hour within the next 36 hours. Now, residents in these areas in particular are strongly advised to stay indoors, secure loose objects around their homes, and be prepared for possible power interruptions and flooding. Now, those in coastal communities should avoid venturing out at all to sea due to the rough to extremely dangerous waters. Now, let's take a look at the latest forecast track. The center of Nando may pass very close or even make landfall over the Babuyan Islands between noon and early afternoon today. Now, Nando is likely to maintain its strength, and there is still a possibility that it could intensify further as it approaches the Babuyan Islands. Now, Super Typhoon Nando is forecast to exit the Philippine area of responsibility by tomorrow morning. Now, with that, storm surge warnings have also been issued as Super Typhoon Nando continues to affect the extreme northern Luzon. Now, areas under the red warning include Batanes, northern portions of Cagayan, the northernmost portion of Ilocos Norte. Now, all of these areas may experience dangerous storm surges higher than 3 meters. Now, that is enough to cause severe flooding in coastal communities. So, meanwhile, an orange warning is up in eastern parts of Cagayan, western portions of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur, where surge heights may reach between 2 to 3 meters. And under the yellow warning are southwestern portions of Ilocos Norte and the northwestern part of Ilocos Sur. Now, these areas may see storm surges of up to 2 meters. Residents in coastal communities are strongly advised to move to higher ground if able and follow the instructions of local authorities. Avoid staying near the shore as waves and storm surges could be life-threatening. Now, apart from that, our weather today will be affected by Super Typhoon Nando and the southwest monsoon or the hanging habagat. Now, because of the typhoon, strong winds and heavy rains are expected over in Batanes, Cagayan, including the Babuyan Islands, Isabela, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, and mountain provinces as well as Ifugao, as we mentioned a while ago. But rain with gusty winds will also be felt in the rest of the Ilocos region, the Cordillera Administrative Region, the rest of Cagayan Valley, as well as in Aurora, Quezon, Zambales, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Bulacan. Now, the habagat will also bring rain to Metro Manila, Mimaropa, Bataan, and the rest of Calabarzon. Now, in the Bicol region, you expect cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. Over in the Visayas, Western Visayas will have cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms because of the habagat. The rest of Visayas will be partly cloudy, but there is still a chance of rain and thunderstorms. Over in Mindanao, the Zamboanga Peninsula will also have cloudy skies with scattered rain, showers, and thunderstorms due to the hanging habagat. And for the rest of Mindanao, you can expect afternoon showers due to localized thunderstorms. Now, let's take a look at the rainfall warnings in place due to the Super Typhoon Nando and the enhanced southwest monsoon. Pag-asa has issued a heavy rainfall advisory for today. Starting off, because of the typhoon, intense torrential rains, that means extremely heavy downpours of more than 200 millimeters, are expected over in Batanes, Cagayan, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Abra, and Apayao. These areas face a serious threat of flooding and landslides. So if you're in those areas, please do exercise extreme caution. Heavy to intense rains or over 100 millimeters of rain are expected over in La Union, Kalinga, and Isabela. And because of the habagat or southwest monsoon, Occidental Mindoro will also have heavy to intense rainfall. Meanwhile, moderate to heavy rains of more than 50 millimeters are expected in Pangasinan, Benguet, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Nueva Vizcaya, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Zambales. Now, due to the southwest monsoon, Metro Manila, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Laguna, Rizal, Oriental, Mindoro, and Palawan will also experience moderate to heavy rains. Now, make sure you keep safe, avoid unnecessary travel, and always follow the warnings and advisories from your local officials. Now, apart from Super Typhoon Nando and the hanging habagat, we're also keeping an eye on a low-pressure area outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Now, it was last seen about 1,485 kilometers east of northeastern Mindanao. Now, according to Pag-asa, this weather system has a medium chance of developing into a tropical depression within the next 24 hours. Now, authorities assure that it is being monitored closely and we will continue to bring you updates as they come in. That's a lot of news coming from the weather, and wherever you are around the Philippines, make sure you stay safe, stay dry, and take extra precautions in this moment. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao. Now we begin the news this morning with the historic anti-corruption protests on Sunday, September 21st. Thousands of Filipinos flooded the streets to call for justice and denounce corruption, coinciding with the 53rd commemoration of martial law declaration. Different organizations and sectors, including the youth and religious groups, gathered in the twin protests, which started at Luneta for the Bahasa Luneta National Day of Action Against Corruption. The march later converged at the People Power Monument for the Trillion Peso March. This rage comes after revelations on the so-called ghost flood control projects believed to have cost Filipinos billions and billions of taxpayer money. So it all started with dubious budget insertions and then the discovery of huge amounts allocated to the DPWH flood control projects in particular. Pero binabaha pa rin ang daming victims of flood all over the Philippines. The president's anger during his SONA, and then investigation started, and then it opened a can of worms, and here we are today. The people are angry, diba? And that's why we had those rallies yesterday. And the question now is, Pao, what happens next?
Yes.
What happens after the mass protest rallies yesterday? What do the people want to see? And yesterday we were able to interview a couple of personalities, political analysts, si Congresswoman Rene Co. We also interviewed her. We had a professor from UP also during my segment with George yesterday. And people want to see concrete change. So that includes i-publicize yung salin ng mga government officials, and also to waive their rights to bank secrecy, removal of government officials involved in corruption. Hindi lang removal, hindi lang pag-resign or tanggalin sa pwesto, but also be made accountable. Kailangan kung guilty, makulong. Diba? And we are not just talking about the district engineers, the contractors, DPWH officials. We want to see congressmen, senators. If they are involved in this, if it's proven that they are involved, kailangan managot, kailangan din silang makulong. So, from the top, diba?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge issued by, well, nagiging viral ngayon, the challenge issued by Vice Ganda in particular to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the legacy that he wants to leave. Challenge the legacy that President Marcos wants to leave, which is to really hold accountable yung mga sinasabi natin corrupt or those proven to be corrupt. Of course, we are looking for action moving forward. Again, the investigations are happening.
Yes.
And we are monitoring that all throughout. Of course, there were so many interesting proposals also made by the protesters, by, of course, personalities, and so on about what are the next steps that can be done. And again, this was an incredible mass protest. Again, tens of thousands of people coming out the ends, making themselves heard. There have been a few incidents of violence as well in certain areas.
In certain areas, nagkaroon ng pagbabato at the Ayala Bridge,
Yes, in
sa
particular.
Menjola, and then Recto. In fact, I was seeing reports 10 p.m. last night na meron pa rin kaguluhan dun sa Recto area, Menjola area. So, this is actually a perfect segue to your next article.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Malacanang Palace was put on lockdown on Sunday following the riots that ensued. Protesters clashed with police after they torched a trailer truck used as a barricade on Ayala Bridge. Tension later escalated in Mendiola after the group started hurling rocks and other hard objects to the police. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro believes that this order was premeditated, something that Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla also suspects. And of course, with all of that, it has been one of those things wherein majority of the protests were planned, and it wouldn't be a surprise if some of the more violent actions were also planned as well. But of course, we have to move on as well because we talked about our reporters
Yes.
who were out last night or yesterday.
field, yes.
May mga iba nga hindi pa umuwi.
The aftermath of riots in the nation's capital slowly being cleared up this morning as Mendiola reopens for traffic. Paolo Barcelon joins us live from Mendiola for the latest. Paolo, how is the situation looking there now?
Good morning, Anne and Pao. As you can see behind me, take a look. Traffic has returned to this stretch of Recto Avenue heading towards Menjola. We can see the morning commute, the morning rush still going on. Classes are suspended here in the city of Manila yesterday by the local government, and you can see right now that traffic has returned to the Recto to Mendiola area. There's still a police presence over here, Anne and Paolo, because Mendiola has seen tough battles between protesters and police in the last few decades. Yesterday's protest was no different. However, Manila's local government says it's going to make those who vandalize and damage the streets and other public and private properties pay for their actions, and they have hinted at who could have possibly steered this mess.
Paolo, I was seeing reports last night na even up to 10 p.m. meron pa rin kaguluhan dun sa Menjola and Recto area. Meron ka bang details as to how many have been arrested since yesterday?
Great question, and actually a little before 10 o'clock in the evening, Anne, ay medyo kumakalma na rin naman yung situation. In fact, we were patrolling, or we were inspecting the Mendiola area last night alongside Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. And you know what greeted him? Burned police motorcycles, a damaged motel lobby, vandalized walls and establishments, and streets laced with shards, rubble, and different kinds of debris. And yesterday he said that people who damage city property will be made to pay for their actions. He also said that
all those damages, government properties, lahat ng na-apprehend will be charged. And I will make sure that they will pay the price.
Yesterday, Anne, the protests here seemed calm. It started around past morning and ended shortly after the primetime news. And it started calm with some supporters of former President Duterte holding their own gathering at Taliwasang Bonifacio. However, like I mentioned, around early afternoon until the early evening, we are seeing different types of violence, not just in Menjola, but it's stretched all the way to nearing the Divisoria area. Masked men, mostly young, storming through the nation's capital, engaging in fierce battles with police, pelting whatever they have against law enforcement, from rocks, bottles, insults, and destroyed property. Now, Mayor Isko says the riots were not the work of rallies who came at the Liwasang Bonifacio or Luneta, who he calls as organized and orderly, and only came to air their grievances.
Mga dayo eh. Taguig, nakita ko yung mga address eh. Taguig, Pasay, Parañaque, Caloocan, Quezon City. May nag-organize eh. Inaalam namin ngayon yung may mga balita kami, mga dating politiko Filipino-Chinese. May isa naman, lawyer. Ayan yung mga binabantayan namin ngayon.
Despite this, the capital remains open for demonstrations of public sentiment, but with one caveat.
They are welcome to Manila and express their complaints and rights, especially in our public plaza. But they don't have the right to destroy properties, private and public. Kala ko ba gusto nyo ng gobyernong matino? Ba't yung sinira yung property ng gobyerno?
Now, and just after the riot, city government personnel already started working, flushing operations conducted here at along Recto Avenue. And to your earlier question on the number of injured, we have numbers as of 6 in the morning. Over 70 police officers have been confirmed injured, and over 100 people have been confirmed arrested by Manila's local authorities as a result of these riots. Close to 40 already examined by police, and 2 minors have been turned over to the Manila Social Welfare and Development Office. All suspects are now under police custody and awaiting charges, and minors are closely monitored. Last night, and if I may add, there was a strict implementation of a citywide curfew for minors from 10 a.m. up until 4 o'clock earlier this morning. But right now, it looks green and go. Classes are suspended, and at least some of the mess has been painted up. We've seen, and we just want to thank the hard work of the maintenance personnel, the MMDA, and all government personnel who helped make clearing this road possible. And Paolo.
Pao, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, yung cleanup efforts by the government after the protest. Nakita natin that there were fires set. You mentioned the hotel lobby as well that was also smashed in. Can you tell us more about yung cleanup process there in terms of has everything been cleaned up in terms of yung vandalism and of course property damage as well?
Great question, Paolo. After around 6 o'clock or to 7 o'clock, bago bumisita si Manila Mayor Isko Moreno dito, we've seen that the streets were literally lined up with pieces of debris. There were rocks. There were the remains of burned placards and other stuff that came. And then after the inspection by the Manila local government, we saw trucks from the disaster office moving in towards Recto and started flushing all these debris away. By 4 o'clock this morning, when we went again with Manila Mayor Isko Moreno for his inspection, we've already seen personnel from the Department of Public Services of the City of Manila already making or cleaning up, painting the walls, just like the one that's behind me. Yesterday, this was full of debris. Now it's painted in primer and white, so they're really trying to clean this thing up. And yesterday, if you can see the traffic that's behind me, that was literally impassable due to the amount of smoke, the amount of rocks and amount of debris that was being pelted by protesters towards police. So it was a difficult cleanup effort. But right now, as you can see, the road is back for public use again, Paolo.
Paolo, meron ba tayong lead as to sino ang nagsimula nitong riot na to? Would you know kung meron bang particular group itong mga kabataan na nag-riot yesterday? Kasi parang looking at the videos from yesterday's coverage also, they were all wearing black, they were wearing masks, meron silang wini-wave na flag, yung one piece na skull, 'di ba? So meron bang grupo itong mga kabataan na ito, and meron ka bang nasasagap na balita as to sino ang nag-instigate nitong riot yesterday?
Great question. And right now, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, earlier when we interviewed him, has zoomed in on several unnamed personalities. He mentioned a former politician, a Filipino-Chinese person, a lawyer. All of these are being investigated right now. But to your point, Anne, of people waving one-piece flags, they seem to have carried flags inspired by the anime, and we can confirm that because of this event, a police officer had life-threatening injuries because of a rioter stabbing him with a stick containing the One Piece flag. So they are looking at different angles right now, Anne, as to who could have possibly organized or agitated these rioters to cause trouble, not just here in Mendiola, but over at the Ayala Bridge, which is coincidentally just very, very near the very seat of power of the Philippine government, Anne.
All right, thank you so much for that report, Paolo. I know you've been there since yesterday. Hindi ka pa yata umuuwi. It's time for you to get some rest. Thank you so much for giving us that update. Paolo Barcelon reporting live from Mendiola.
Now moving on, Malacanang has denied speculations of unrest within the armed forces of the Philippines. This after retired military officials staged a protest outside Camp Aguinaldo in Quezon City to denounce systemic corruption in the government, joining other protests in areas such as the Neta Park and the EDSA People Power Monument. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said in an interview, a TV interview, that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has full trust in the uniformed personnel and officials of the AFP, adding that the president understands the protesters were not anti-Marcos but were demanding accountability for the plunder of billions in taxpayer funds.
Protests have erupted across the country, with thousands of Filipinos demanding accountability from the government over corruption in flood control projects. In Baguio, around 5,000 protesters reportedly gathered, including students, clergy, and activists, to rally against padded projects and graft. Similar demonstrations took place in the Visayan cities of Cebu, Bacolod, Iloilo, and Tacloban, with participants joining the local version of the Trillion Peso March initiated in Metro Manila. Protests were also held in Bulacan, where residents denounced the flood control scandal and demanded transparency, prosecution of officials, and recovery of ill-gotten wealth.
Just taking a look at some of the images that we just saw, napaka-powerful yun, yung flood control protests when it comes to the imagery of them wading through the flood water. Grabe. I mean, like, I'm just taking a look at it right now. I cannot fathom just how, because there are so many powerful images, and this is definitely one of them for me.
Yes. And you know what's moving pa? Because some of these places, they remain flooded kahit walang ulan, kahit
Yes.
walang bagyo.
And may parating na bagyo. So, we're going to see how that develops even further. But let's move on to world news.
Yes.
Okay, so the Pope Leo the 14th has called for global unity and prayer, urging world leaders to resist using wealth as a tool of oppression. On X, he said, quote, "Let us pray together that the leaders of nations may be free from the temptation to use wealth against humanity, turning it into weapons that destroy people and monopolies that demean workers." He added that whoever serves God becomes free from wealth, but whoever serves wealth remains a slave. His message resonates with the current calls for change in several Asian countries like Nepal, Indonesia, and here in the Philippines, where massive protests were held over government corruption and unfair policies. Now moving on to sports, there was also a great thing to celebrate yesterday, as Filipino pole vaulter EJ Obiena was one of the proponents in bringing the Atletang Ayala World Pole Vault Challenge to life last Sunday, September 22, at the Ayala Triangle. And it was just fitting that he ended up winning the gold in the process. Now, Obiena cleared 5.80 meters with the least attempts, which was enough to outleap silver medalist French vaulter Thibaut Collet, who could not clear 5.90 meters. Poland's Piotra Lisek passed 5.60 meters to round out the podium and finish bronze. The weekend meet, which started with the National Pole Vault competition on Saturday, is the first ever World Athletics accredited street pole vault event in Southeast Asia.
And it's time our for tea this morning, some Filipinos got creative during the anti-corruption protests. A group brought in theater by portraying flood victims covered with mud. Some youth groups, meanwhile, marched with chains propped to their necks. And some protesters used wit and humor with their placards. One of them wrote, "Miyaw ki ba, wag matakot." And
Miyaw ki
another
baka.
one wrote, miyaw ki baka, wag matakot. And another one wrote, "Wag kang kukurap." Gen Zs also showed out bannering over naman sa nakaw and hindi ko talaga kaya this. I think you showed me a reel
Yes.
saying that a while ago. Some also brought a one piece that was also used in movements in Nepal and Indonesia. For fans of the Japanese manga, it symbolizes rebellion against corruption, authoritarianism, and injustice. Yesterday, during the coverage, we were seeing creative placards nga,
Yeah.
and some were saying, "I miss you, my taxpayers' money."
Yes.
May ganon. Tapos, basta very, very creative, using humor. Pero kahit na may parang comedic relief through those creative placards,
Yeah.
syempre, isa lang naman yung outcry ng taong bayan, which is to cancel corruption.
Yes, and of course, personalities also came out as well to speak out, and some of them have gone viral for it.
That's right. Another cup of warm tea. Some Filipino celebrities were spotted joining the protests against corruption in the streets of Metro Manila yesterday. These include Maris Racal, Jody Santa Maria, Angel Aquino, and Andrea Brillantes, who joined Baha sa Luneta Aksyon Laban sa Korupsyon. Meanwhile, Vice Ganda, Ann Curtis, Ion Perez, and Jackie Gonzaga all joined the Trillion Peso March in EDSA, along with Jasmine Curtis, Donnie Pangilinan, and Darren Espanto.
Mabuhay kayo! Yan ang pagbati natin sa isa't isa. At para sa lahat naman ng mga politiko at bahagi na ng gobyerno na nagnakaw sa atin, nagnanakaw sa atin, mga nakatingin habang may nagnanakaw sa atin, mga kasama ng mga nagnanakaw sa atin, mga alam na may nagnanakaw pero hindi nagsasalita, mga kasama ng mga nagnanakaw, mga nagtatago ng magnanakaw, isa lang ang gusto namin sabihin sa inyong lahat. Patawad kay Father, pero
You know what? We could have played the longer version of that clip, pero it was...
We actually did last night during the news. Ang daming bleep.
Ang daming
Like,
bleep.
toot,
It became a chant, okay? And that was after Mass.
Yes. Kaya nga sabi niya, "Patawad, Father."
Diretso confession after.
Oo.
Oh my
Pero
gosh.
you can really feel the anger. No?
Yeah.
It's understandable, this outrage that we're seeing, not just from students, from youth groups, but also from celebrities. Diba? Lahat naman kasi tayo nagbabayad ng tax, and then we see them laid out on a table funding lavish lifestyles of politicians. Diba?
And-
So,
yeah.
makakagalit talaga.
And of course, it's also nice to see yung mga influencers also taking part in the event. It's not just the celebrities. Syempre, yung mga sikat sa TikTok, mga sikat sa
Yes.
YouTube, they have also come out with their own
Creative
content
ways.
and creative
Yeah.
ways to do it also. So, again, it's so widespread across the spectrum of people who have come out to go and protest has been inspiring in so many ways, because it's again, it's not just the celebrities, it's not just yung taong bayan talaga, it's not
Yes.
just yung mga influencers, it
That's
really
right.
is a collective effort. So
It's
we're
everyone. It's not just even Metro Manila.
Yeah.
It's all over the country.
like we mentioned a while ago,
Yeah.
but of course we're gonna hear more about that as the week goes on. Again, they're looking for concrete examples of
Yes.
moving on,
Concrete
or concrete changes and concrete
right.
movements, and a lot of that will be covered here for sure, so make sure that you stay with us the entire way. Now, when we return, we'll hear from the Office of Civil Defense on how the country is preparing for the possible impact of Typhoon Nando.
Plus, our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua. So stay with us. More of Beautiful Day when we return.
Welcome back to Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now, the country prepares for the possible impact of Super Typhoon Nando. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council is working closely with the local government units to ensure communities are ready and safe. Now, to give us a closer look at the measures being put in place, joining us via Zoom is Junie Castillo, the spokesperson of the Office of the Civil Defense. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Magandang umaga po, and it's a beautiful day.
A beautiful day, Paolo, despite the presence of the Super Typhoon Nando, and a beautiful day also to all your listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much for being here. You're absolutely right. We're here talking about the Super Typhoon Nando and, of course, yung possible impact po niya. When we talk about the preparations made, especially in the northern part of the country, what has already been done?
That's right, Paolo. No, as early as last week, we have been preparing for this, no, based on the guidance and directive of our president. So as of last week, we have elevated the alert code status of our operation centers into red alert status, meaning all the response agencies, all the local government units that are concerned for the preparedness and response of in relation to the Super Typhoon Nando are all on standby. All our prepositions for the food and non-food items have been prepositioned. So all of those preparations have been done as early as last week.
Of course, there are added risks to yung mga low-lying communities and those in coastal areas, especially for those with storm surges. There are already storm surge warnings out, and of course, heavy rainfall warnings as well that we're really monitoring when it comes to severe flooding. How have those areas in particular been addressed in terms of their safety?
In terms of the areas, no, that are both for the landslide and for the rain-induced hazards also, no, there is a list that has been given to us by the DENR Mines and Geosciences Bureau. And this is also based on the forecast given by Pag-asa. No? So these lists have been distributed to our local government units for these areas to prepare for specific hazards. As you mentioned, no, there are areas that are exposed to storm surges, especially the eastern and the northern part of the northern Luzon. And then for other hazards also, preemptive evacuations have been done. So all of these hazards, specific hazards to these areas have been addressed through our coordination with our local government units.
You mentioned po, preemptive evacuations have already been made. Do we have any numbers when it comes to how many communities, how many individuals and families have been evacuated already, and in which areas?
As we speak, Paolo, no, we are monitoring, no, and we are conducting a roll call as we speak, no, to all of the regions. But as of last night, we have about 1,000 families that have been pre-evacuated. No? This data is coming from the DILG. This is composed of almost 3,000 individuals that have been pre-evacuated from regions 1, region 2, also region 3, parts of region 3, especially from the province of Aurora, Batanes, Cagayan, also from region 2, no? And then also from the Cordillera Administrative Region.
Mm-hmm. When we talk about the relief goods available as well as the rescue teams and emergency equipment that are pre-positioned rather and ready to respond quickly, what assets do we have to be able to respond to any untoward event and, of course, disaster relief efforts?
Yes, in terms of disaster relief efforts, no, through our DSWD, which is the lead of the food and non-food item clusters, no, the data that they gave us, no, this is actually not done just in preparation for hazards, no, like typhoon, no, but this is all year round being done, no, prepositioned food family food packs, which are prepositioned strategically nationwide. As of yesterday, no, we have about 2.6 million family food packs based on the data of the DSWD, which are again prepositioned in regions, no, from region 1, region 2, CAR, and also in other regions also.
Mm-hmm. We talk about practical steps po. I'm sure a lot of people are worried that even if they are not pre-positioned or rather preemptively evacuated, especially in the northern part of the Philippines. Ano po yung payo nyo to make sure that the risks are minimized, especially during this typhoon season, considering that it is a super typhoon in Nando that we're talking about?
That's right, Paolo. No, dun sa ating mga kababayan, ang sinasabi natin lagi, yung paghahanda po, hindi really the preparedness should be done early on. No? That's really the key. Yung paghahanda natin sa ating mga kababayan, halos dapat nga gawin na natin ng kumbaga as a way of life, no, kaparte na ng ating buhay. And as for practical tips to our kababayans, unang-una, importante po alam natin yung mga hazards na exposed tayo. Meron pong mga apps kung meron na tayong internet at meron naman tayong cellphone, pwede natin yon tingnan through our DOST FIVOX app. This is called Hazard Hunter PH. You'll be able to see if your house, if your area, if your community is exposed to specific hazards. And then based on those hazard assessments that are given to you through that app or through that website, you'll be able to know what will be your priority preparedness measures. So if you're exposed to flooding, you'll be able to see how high the flood are you exposed to. So you'll be able to know if you have your properties, that if you have the right elevation to be able to put into safety, your belongings, or if it's a really high flooding, then you might have to be able to have your provisions. Where would you go in case you need to evacuate? What will be your the food and non-food items that you have to prepare for at the household level.
Yeah.
And most importantly, these measures should be discussed among the family members. Dapat alam ninyo yon sa inyo, bawat miyembro ng pamilya, alam ninyo kung ano yung maging responsibilidad ninyo, kung sino yung magdadala ng ganito, saan kayo magkikita-kita. All those practical tips dapat po na pag-uusapan ninyo talaga sa pamilya.
Well, sir, because of the Super Typhoon Nando, we also have to give mention to the enhanced southwest monsoon that is being enhanced by this super typhoon. Now, this is anticipated to bring heavy rains and flooding yet again to Metro Manila and other flood-prone areas. Now, again, with all of the narrative happening around yung flood control and flood-prone areas in general, what measures are now being implemented or at least being prepared for the enhanced southwest monsoon for these flood-prone areas that have been affected or will be affected, rather?
As I mentioned earlier, there is a list of barangays issued by the Mines and Geosciences Bureau. So all of this, right now, we're looking at around 3,000 barangays under this list, specifically for the Super Typhoon Nando and also the enhancement of the Southwest Monsoon. Dito po sa Southwest Monsoon or habagat, ang sinasabi natin sa mga kababayan natin, hindi lang po itong nasa track ng bagyong Nando. That's why all of the regions actually have been alerted to prepare, because the enhancement of the habagat or the southwest monsoon would affect the western part of the country and also some parts both in Luzon and in Visayas, and even some parts of Mindanao also. There is also a so-called localized thunderstorm, which also brings about rain, flash floods, and some landslides also. So it's really the whole country, nationwide, we should be prepared.
Well, sir, it looks like you have a lot of work ahead of you as well. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning, and hopefully we can talk to you again soon for more updates as this storm passes and, of course, as the southwest monsoon continues to have an effect in our country. Maraming salamat po. He is Juni Castillo, the spokesperson of the Office of the Civil Defense. Thank you so much for sharing yung updates and reminders po.
Thank you, Paolo.
That's it for Weather HQ at the moment, and back to you.
Thank you, Pao. Now, is today going to be a lucky day for us or not? Let's go find out from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! Beautiful day with me, Bilyonaryo Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope ngayong araw ng Monday, September 22. Simulan natin sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat. Magandang araw para magsimula ng bagong project. Fresh energy, fresh start, green at 1. Kay Oksaman tayo magandang simula ang bagong wellness habit gaya ng walking or mga stretching. Gold at 7. Punta naman tayo sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Tiger. Ready ka na bang magmahal muli? Don't look back na. Red at 5. Rabbit naman tayo, i-refresh ang kwarto gamit ang citrus na mga scent o mga essential oils. Silver at 3. Kay Drago naman tayo, may opening na pwedeng i-grab. Huwag hayaang maunahan ka! Purple at 6. Kay Snake naman, minsan hindi mo kailangan ng closure. Kailangan mo lang ng bagong pinto. Yellow at 2. Ito naman with the year of the horse. Simulan ang linggo sa warm bath at positive na affirmation. Orange at 9. Kay Ship naman tayo, boss man yan o partner. Habulin mo na yan! Red at 6. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day dito lang po sa Beautiful Day with me, Master Hans Kua.
Thank you as always, Master Hans Kua. Now, coming up next, we discover the journey of the first Filipino analog astronaut, now in transit to become the first Filipino in space. We might be witnessing history in the making. Let's unpack all of that later. Beautiful day. We'll be right back. You're still watching Beautiful Day. Our next guest is aiming for the stars, literally. After making history as the first Filipino analog astronaut, she is now on her way to become the first Filipino in space. Curious how she'll take flight to wave the Philippine flag beyond the skies? Kristine Jane Atienza joins us in the Hangout. Beautiful day, Kristine. Good morning. Welcome to the Hangout. Welcome to Beautiful Day.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me here.
Of course. You know what? I am so curious. Analog astronaut. Because when people hear the word astronaut, they say, no, it's so cool. You're wearing an astronaut outfit and then you're going to outer space. But what does it really mean to be an analog astronaut?
So, as analog astronaut, we simulate real space missions. So, everything or anything that will go to space, we need to simulate here. Equipment, spacesuit, habitat. So as analog astronauts, we do that. So we do our experiments, and also we are kind of also the guinea pigs kasi kami yung kinukuhanan ng data from hair samples, blood, urine, and mga psych tests.
Of course.
So we have that here in the Philippines?
Not yet, but hopefully we will.
Because I believe it was in 2023, diba?
Yes, it was in 2023.
In Hawaii, in the slopes of Mauna Loa, volcano. It's a volcano, practically. You lived in a volcano for a few days. How was that experience?
So it was a nice experience for me. I'm an introvert, so we're isolated in this habitat on top of Mauna Loa. So it was great. You would think that when we say space exploration, we would think it's very expansive. But during our analog space mission, space is kind of like this habitat because you can't go out without wearing your spacesuit because you're simulating as if you're on Mars.
Oh, okay. So during that mission, your role was a nutrition specialist and medical officer, right?
Yes.
So what were some of your most interesting observations during that mission?
So as a nutritionist, most of our food are freeze-dried. We don't have meat. Yeah, so our appetite is kind of declining as days go by because, you know, our food is not similar to here on Earth. So, ayun, parang you would really appreciate how accessible our resources are here on Earth as compared when you're in outer space.
So in other words, pag uwi mo, ang sarap ng kain mo.
Yes.
Alright, kasi, sorry, when you say space nutrition, I could only imagine, I think of sci-fi growing up, or I think of like yung the Jetsons growing up, right?
Yeah.
Yung everything's in tubes, everything is, you know, or maybe even The Martian, the movie, right? Wherein basically everything's plant-based. What does it mean, space nutrition? What's different about it compared to Earth nutrition or our nutrition?
Actually, maraming similarities din. It's just that we also, of course, astronauts are humans too, so we need to provide them nourishment, not just for their physiological needs, but they're also their psychological needs, because food is not just for nourishment, it's also our culture. So it's very important for them. Actually, yun, as analog astronauts, I really felt that na it breaks our routine. And parang yung moral namin is up when we eat together. It's our way of to communicate then within our crew members.
So you're talking about nourishment. Ano ba yung kinds of nutrients that become more critical
Yeah, more
in
crucial.
isolated missions like this, prolonged isolated missions?
A lot. So when astronauts go to outer space, there's microgravity, right? So there's bone loss, a lot of bone loss. So yung parang yung bones nila parang meron silang osteoporosis.
Yeah.
And then yung muscle loss then because they don't use yung gravity. I mean, there's no gravity pulling our muscles down. So nawawalan sila ng muscle mass.
Yeah.
So ayun yung mga important things. Vitamin D, they don't have.
So parang more protein, ganun ba?
Right now, protein, kulang pa yung research natin. There's a lot of gaps in the research in protein. So, right as of the moment, yung protein doesn't really countermeasure yung muscle loss. So, they do exercise.
In space.
In space.
So, kasi here,
That's so
diba,
interesting.
your fitness coach would say if you're building muscle, then you take more protein, diba?
Magdadala lang sila ng whey protein sa space. Kung gano'n.
But it's not necessarily the same in
Yeah.
Outer
space.
space. Oh, that's so interesting.
Again, this is just the beginning. So, nag-analog astronaut ka, but you want to be a real astronaut.
Actually, to be honest, previously or initially, I didn't want to become an astronaut like growing up. I wanted to become an astronomer.
Oh, okay.
But that didn't happen. Like, I was a physics student and then I shifted out just because I felt like I'm below average when I was in the university. So I shifted to a course that it's very far from astronomy or physics, which is nutrition. But I didn't stop sharing my love for astronomy and space. And somehow, along the way, I kind of bridged the two, my vocation now, which is nutrition, and space, so space nutrition. And through that, I became an analog astronaut because I'm a space nutritionist and an analog astronaut. And somehow, after my stint in high seas, it kind of blew up like outside of the astronomy and space community here in the Philippines. So I went to schools, and I met a lot of people, a lot of students who wanted to become an astronaut. And that's that's when I thought na I felt like it became a responsibility for me to look for ways for us to go to outer space.
Yeah.
So I decided to get certified for a suborbital space flight. So more than the certification itself, I really want to bring something back here in the Philippines. I'm thinking longer term, na maybe we can have our own space program here, human space flight program. So it's not just one or two Filipinos that can go to outer space, but anyone who wants to can have an opportunity to become one.
You're campaigning for a seat on a space flight beyond the Kármán line. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's this campaign, Sarah campaign. So they're giving 6 seats for nations who doesn't have like a lot of representation in space. So in that 6 seats, there are 4 confirmed: India, Brazil, Nigeria, and Thailand. 1 unannounced, and 1 seat open for everyone. So anyone in the whole world can campaign for that seat. So
Okay.
So how do you vote for you since you're campaigning?
actually, right now we're on the 0 phase pa lang.
Okay.
So phase 1 is not yet starting actually. But on the 3rd phase, vote. So dun magvo-vote yung mga tao. They didn't give the specifics yet, but hopefully Filipinos can support us. Not just me, but everyone who's campaigning.
Right.
Filipino campaigning for that seat.
I'm
They can-
so curious about the process kasi in my mind, yung na-imagine ko parang Big Brother na or Survivor eh. Oo, yung proseso.
Yeah, parang kailangan may audience impact, kumbaga.
Yes, actually,
Right?
yes.
But Filipinos are known for giving support
Oo.
sa mga ganyan, ha?
Oo, laban lang sa social especially.
Oh, right. And how does your family feel about all your adventures and your achievements? Kasi syempre, this takes you to so many places, time away from them ito. So, how do they feel about your your adventures?
I feel like natanggap na nila.
Okay.
Kasi even before, I had a sit-down talk with my mom because she thought I wanted to become an astronaut. And I told her, no, I wanted to become an astronomer, not an astronaut. But now, I'm vying for a seat to become an astronaut or to go to space.
You're not content with just looking at the stars. You want to be among the stars.
Yes,
diba?
exactly.
But are you an only child?
Yes.
And they don't mind that out of this world yung anak nila.
I think natanggap na talaga nila.
Literally.
Because before, parang overprotective sila. But then, ngayon, I'm going underwater. I'm going to different things.
Oh, so do you dive
Yeah,
also?
speaking of underwater,
Yeah.
she's also a mermaid. She's not just an astronaut. You're also a part-time mermaid.
Yes,
Tell
I'm a
us all about
certified
that.
mermaid.
So ayaw mo talaga sa lupa. Yan yung takeaway ko eh.
Ayaw niya doon sa in-between. She
Oo.
has to be down under or up above.
Wait lang.
Okay.
Wait. When you said certified mermaid, I thought about it twice and then I just saw the footage.
Yeah, mermaid ka talaga. Di ba? Meron talaga ganyan.
Yes,
I've been
yes.
seeing
Wow.
that on my socials.
So it's like scuba. You have certification for different levels
Right.
of mermaids. So I'm an advanced mermaid now.
Wait. So many questions. Is that why your hair is red?
No.
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 Okay, so hindi ka fan ni Ariel.
Well, I like Ariel, but it's not because
She just had to say that and explain it. Oo. Pero perfect naman when you're wearing your mermaid's tail. Very Ariel. Yeah. But was that something you've always wanted to do as well?
yeah. Well, I think it was when I was in 4th grade, so 10 years old. It's
Okay.
not because of the first Little Mermaid, but the second movie. Dun ko naisip na, I want to become a mermaid. So I did that. And then
so
during a space conference, I told, in a very, what do you call that, serious space conference in Singapore, I told everyone that, well, they asked everyone what they wanted to become. And I told them, I wanted to become a mermaid. So they called me the Space Mermaid.
I can
That
just
is-
imagine her doing her mermaid moves pagka naka-anti-gravity
Out of space, yeah,
setting ka
yeah.
na, di ba? Outer space, mga ganyan-ganyan.
I still have so many questions, but we're running out of time.
Astronaut questions, mermaid questions.
Oh my gosh, both. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we have to wrap this up, but we normally ask this one question that Anne normally does.
Yes. Our show is called Beautiful Day. So tell us what makes your day beautiful, Kristine.
My day is beautiful when I think I can share whatever passion that I have, like any advocacy that I have to people, even people that I don't know, especially strangers. When I meet them and then they told me they want to become this, and I can tell them, you can be that. Like, I don't really want to, stop anything. I feel like everything is possible if you dream
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Fantastic. I cannot wait for you to come back here when you have finally reached your goal to make it outer space, pass the Kármán line, and to show us everything. And then you could be like, hey, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Right? So, I cannot wait for that particular guesting.
Yeah, so we look forward to seeing you again on the show. Thank you for joining us. Kristine Jane Atienza, first Filipino analog astronaut / mermaid.
Wouldn't you say my collection's complete? Up next, we have a day mix with Filipino-Norwegian R&B soul artist HILLARI. She's in the Philippines to headline her first solo show in the country on Friday. So stay tuned, beautiful day. We'll be right back. Tuned in to Beautiful Day. Now, a rising R&B soul artist on the global stage. She's played shows across Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. And now she's here in the Philippines to headline her first solo show here on Friday. Here's singer-songwriter HILLARI as she performs I'm Still on Day Mix.
Get too excited. There's always more that I can do. I try to live in the moment I did. And every single time I lose, I was chasing perfection, running further from the truth. And on my worst, every wrong turn only led me back to you. Thought that I'd be missing out, but I still know that whatever I'm feeling, time heals. Need you to take over my mind, my will. I don't closer to you when I'm still. Perfection, running further from the truth, yeah. And on my worst, every wrong turn only led me back to you. Thought that I'd be missing out, but I still know that whatever I'm feeling, time heals. Need you to take over my mind, my will. I don't closer to you. I'm still,
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for HILLARI. Wow, fantastic. And what a way to start the show, of course. So we're going to have you sit down here and join us here at the table. Thank you so much for being here. And you know what, HILLARI, thanks so much for gracing us with your music. It's a fantastic start.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so let's start off first with the fact that this year going to be your first solo show here in the Philippines. And how do you feel about that fact, considering that you have toured all over the world?
It's special. It's very, very special, especially when this is my motherland. So coming back home just feels extraordinary. Yeah.
So we're going to have your mic brought in here as well, just to make sure the audio sounds a bit better. But of course, you're coming in here, a bit of mixed heritage, but then there is a bit of you know, there's an Ilongga in you.
Yes,
Right? You
that's
talked about
right,
that a while
that's
ago,
right.
and that you were actually telling us that you're more comfortable in Bisaya.
That's right.
than Tagalog.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for
how's
me,
that?
I actually prefer much more Ilonggo because I feel like that's where I actually get to express myself and really show my true Filipino side. But when it comes to Tagalog, I'm like lagging a little bit, but I'm practicing on it. Yeah.
So you were born in Norway, you spent some early years here in the Philippines, and then you moved permanently to Norway after that. How did switching countries and cultures at such a young age, shape who you are personally and as an artist as well?
Honestly, like growing up here in the Philippines really made me like the woman that I am today, like with my musical background, growing up in church, but also like my grandmother forcing me to sing in front of like my aunties, titas, lolos.
Which is a very Filipino thing.
That's like a Filipino training,
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
And so I used to get paid, literally. So that was like my child labor around that time, That was child labor around that time.
Shout out
Just
to all our tita babies.
No, really.
Yeah.
Tita Pinky.
Tita Pinky.
So like Tito RJ, they were my audience before.
Yeah.
And so having that kind of like training and just like having that in my DNA at such an early age, that was something that I already had, and I'm super, super blessed to have. But moving to Norway when I was like around 8 years old, that was the time when a big transition happened, when I had to relearn the language, I had to adapt to the environment, to the culture, to the values, and it's different. And so around that time, I really loved it, but at the same time, that was the moment when I was a lot alone and isolated. And so that was kind of like the time when I made sure that I had it okay with myself, and how I did that was that I was clinging onto this one thing that I knew my whole life, and that was music. And so even though everything was kind of like new to me, like, the environment, the culture, I feel like music was the only thing that I actually kind of just like was hanging on to. And so every time I felt something, music was always my escape. And so that was kind of like me sharpening my skills already at such an early age. And that's how we got here.
Yeah, I just hearing about you growing up in Norway in particular, because there are such different countries, Philippines, Norway. Just taking a look at the temperature, just taking a look at the weather, right? And even the attitude of the people, a very different culture.
Very.
And when you take a look at the fact that you're shaped by both of them, and you're shaped by the people around you, your music is so warm. I mean, did that play a factor that you're trying to bring a bit of warmth to Norway in that way?
Definitely. I would say that my music is, I always say this, but my music is for the soul. And I feel like growing up with, in the Philippines, I had a lot of exposure in R&B, gospel, soul music. And so for me, like bringing that touch out into the world, especially in Norway as well, in North America, just music that is for the soul, and kind of like remembering people that music is so way deeper than we think. And we're more than just flesh and blood, And so there's something deeper that we need to kind of like recognize, and I hope that my music kind of speaks to that.
I was gonna say I love your genre, your musical style, soul R&B, because
Thank you.
I love listening to India Arie, Jill Scott.
Girl, that's my thing right there. Neo soul.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about your musical style. What made you, go this route, choose this sound, and who are your influences?
My influences are Alicia Keys, and we already said it, India Arie, and Lauryn Hill, and Alicia Keys, Norah Jones. And so I grew up listening to that, you know.
Yeah.
So I thank my mom. Shout out to Mama, really, for giving me those influences at such a young age. But I would say, I'd say low-key that soul music chose me, because honestly, at first, I really loved pop, but then I was just gravitating towards soul music because it just spoke to me in a deeper way, and I felt like when I was younger, that was the type of music that healed me, and so I wish that my music can also touch and move people like it did with me.
Yeah, I love that, and your music has touched people. In fact, I believe there's a local fan group called the Family.
Yeah, that's right, Family.
You how do you get a chance to meet them?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, for this round, not yet, but I will do so on my concert, the 26th, and I'm super excited about that because meeting your community face to face is just different. It's like you really get to feel their energy and see their faces. But the last time that I was here, though, that was so special. That was back in 2023, and I had the opportunity to meet up with my family. And when I tell you, there was this one family member that came up to me, and it was my first year as I debuted as an artist.
Yeah.
So he came up to me, and he showed me both of his arms, there was a tattooed signature of my name
Wow.
and tattooed
wow.
signature of my logo. I was like,
Wow.
that's how we do it in the Philippines.
That's
That
commitment.
dedication.
Yeah.
And he messaged me till this day, just like, yeah, your name is still there. And I'm like,
He didn't have it removed.
No, he
yeah,
didn't have
yeah,
it
yeah,
removed.
yeah. It wasn't a mistake.
no. So really, like, just having that type of support and love from the Philippines, it's special.
And that's really family.
That's insane, yeah.
Family,
Family,
right?
Family,
yeah,
family.
exactly. You are a 20-year-old musician.
20.
How does it feel to already have been nominated for awards at the Norwegian Grammys and Music Moves Europe Awards?
Honestly, I'm super thankful. That was something that I've never expected, and I don't know if people know this, but being an artist or being a singer wasn't really my intention. Like that was never the plan, but I feel like God just had other plans for me, and so I feel very honored and so humbled. And there's so much yet to learn, and there's so much. This is really the beginning, but I'm super excited for what the journey has to offer.
Oh, we are
I mean,
excited
yeah.
for you.
You're off to a great start, and obviously a lot of people are wondering what your next plans are. If I'm not mistaken, you also have a new EP that you will
right.
be performing on Friday. But apart from that, what do you have on dock?
So right now I'm on tour. I just did my New York show, and then I'm now in the Philippines, so I'm gonna do that at Lina Lina, which I'm super excited about. And also we're on our way to Los Angeles after the Philippines, doing my headliner show there as well. And then I'm just gonna focus on a lot of good music because I'm working on my upcoming album. So there's a lot of exciting things going on.
Oh, we're excited for it. And
September 26th.
September
Yes, why don't
26th.
you invite our
Yes.
viewers to join you?
Oh, please. I would love to invite all of you guys to my headliner show here in the Philippines at Lina Lina HQ, September 26th. And we're going to have such a good time. So invite all of your peoples. Let's go.
And where can they find you and where can they find your music?
They can find me everywhere on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and Instagram. On my social media, my name is Hillary Allison, and it's Hillary with an I, not with a Y.
yeah, there we have it there on the screen there, Hillary with an I, just so everyone
Yeah.
understands it. But of course, we can't let you go without asking this one last question, Anne.
Yes, our show is called Beautiful Day. So Hillary, what makes your day beautiful?
Ooh. What makes my day beautiful is me actually being in the present moment and taking it one moment at a time and being still and actually just embracing that.
I love that.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
I love that.
too.
I love that answer. And we
Really
love your
from the
music.
soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
we love your music. We love everything that you've shown us here so far, and we cannot wait for your next steps. And I can't believe you're 20.
Right? So young.
I can't believe you've done this all at 20 and you're
Exactly.
doing more. I mean, like, I don't know what I was doing at 20. But
Go,
ladies
girl.
and gentlemen, the Filipino-Norwegian R&B artist Hillary, go catch her stuff, and of course check her out as well. Lina Lina HQ on the 26th. And of course, because we're in the Philippines, we're still counting down the days to Christmas.
Still? Yes,
I know it's
yes.
September, but my goodness, here it is. We are now 94 days, beautiful days before Christmas. And I don't know if you're gonna have a Christmas album out soon, but
You
it would
should.
I should
That is a
have
very
that.
Filipino
You
it
know
thing
what?
would
too.
be a bop here.
You know what? I need actually to have that in the plan.
Yeah, there
you
you
just
go.
did something.
Yeah, and just you can release it in September. It'll sell here.
Right, exactly. Right.
But that's
A
our
long promotional run.
absolutely start here.
Yeah.
and we'll work that out. But that is a wrap, unfortunately, for our show. This on Monday, September 22. Of course, we wish we had more time. But thank you so much for joining us here today. Once again, I'm Paolo de Rosario. Remember, keep it cool, take it easy.
And I'm Ann. Asis-Carilo. Have a great day ahead. And always remember to choose joy and spread love and kindness wherever this day takes you. See you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
Beautiful day!